they start throwing each other through the walls. It's like, no, keep it out there in the town. Don't tear up my shit. It's like, dude, why the fuck you having an illegal fight in your goddamn house?
Yeah,
you don't feel for that motherfucker at all.
No, they pretty much turned to Bluto and Popeye. I mean, you expecting like at any moment you expecting like to turn to a cartoon and a big dust cloud with fists flying up and just going through the house. But every fight that this guy wins, he's not really fighting. I mean, in the middle of a fight, an anvil could have came down on somebody's head, and they would have took Channing Tatum and said, "The winner by anvil, Channing Tatum." And it's like
this sounds like more of a video game than a real fight.
Yeah, and it's like he's not. These are not even real fights, and so yeah.
I beg to differ. I think these fights were really very authentic, and that was the thing. Is a real fight isn't that exciting. It's fucking crazy. There's this.
Wait a minute. I've seen pictures of you in high school. I'm going to place bet right now that you haven't been in a real fight, so I'm not sure you know what you're talking about.
Well, he was in those two-hit fights.
I've been in a number of fights.
I'm going to bet that other than losing instantly, you haven't been in a real fight.
Okay.
All right.
Let me correct that.
Hey, Corey, I got 10 on Carlisle.
Oh, no, let me say, there is that time he got beat up by a girl in high school that he lost to, and that was kind of a real fight.
That can get vicious. Was that what Channing Tatum was like in here? Was he that girl?
What happens here, there's one fight where he's fighting, and this guy's kicking the crap out of him, and then he just kind of does a bull rush or a spear towards the guy, nails the guy to where his head slams into a water fountain, and knocks the guy unconscious. And he wins.
Oh,
why?
well,
because he knocked the guy out. Did the guy tear him up for 5 minutes beforehand? Yeah. But Channing Tatum won the fight. And that's what Corey's talking about.
Oh.
Is there a couple times where he wins like that, where he sets up a situation where he knocks the guy out like that, and you're kind of like, oh, I guess he wins by default.
See, that first fight was like an accident. Like he got tired of getting his ass beat. He's like, "Rah!" and he pushes him into a wall, and the guy just happens to hit his head on a water fountain and gets knocked out. And everybody's like, "You kicked his ass, man! You kicked his ass!" You can even see him like,
well, now that was his.
I really didn't do
now,
that.
Hold on,
much,
those were his punk ass kind of satellite guys who were like, "Man, you kicked his ass. Let's take this money and go spend it."
To be fair, it only takes one water fountain to end a fight, no matter how bad you're losing.
I mean, the UFC, it is all about that. No matter how well you're doing it
But
first,
see,
if you can come back and choke the other guy, then you'll win.
No, see, in that kind of fight, the water fountain is ripped out the wall and you slam it on somebody's head. It's not like you slipped on a banana peel and accidentally slammed somebody's head into a water fountain. And even people around him, because I think Luis Guzman comes in after he knocks the guy out by bumping him into a water fountain. He's like, so I see you have a winner on your hands. It's like, no, the water fountain won. He didn't do shit.
Luis Guzman.
I was referring to the water fountain.
Luis Guzman
How
showing
much
up
for the water fountain?
Luis Guzman showing up going, "Hey, is this a movie about the streets? I got to be in here somewhere. I'm in the mall."
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
No, this is you're playing into the expectations that a lot of people will play into. When you look at this trailer, it looks like you're going to see some serious fighting. Like you're like, oh my God, this movie's called Fighting, and it's got fighting, and it's gonna be about fighting. And then you get into the fights, and it's like, seriously, you knocked him out with a water fountain? Well, okay, maybe the next fight will be, oh really? They didn't end that? Oh, well, the next fight's really gonna be, okay, well that fight was kind of cool, but does it really warrant being called fighting at this point? And that's where the fights are not the focus of the film.
Well, I know you like this better than I did, and that's cool. We were just seeing two different things because I can take it as a movie because I think if it had been good, because we've done this before, I would have come back and said, you know something, don't listen to the title because the movie's not at all about fighting, but it's about something better, or it's about something else. It's just as good. In this, I really didn't understand the subplot with the dad. I didn't think it was strong enough for
Wait,
Channing.
there's a dad in here?
No, it's not. Channing Tatum runs off from Alabama because he's had problems with his dad. When you hear what it's about, you're kind of like, that's why you ran all the way to New York. Just like, you went to the opposite end of the country because of that little thing. And like I said, the dialogue is just not that good to me. The acting in some parts is all right, but then it wears thin because the story is not that good. It's just not enough there to support it, even if it's not about fighting. What are you laughing about?
Because I'm just imagining like, no, son, you can't eat the Snickers until after dinner. What? Screw you, Dad. I'm going to New York, and I'm going to make something of myself.
Fuck you, Dad.
I'm out of here.
Now, see, I actually really like the dialogue. There's one the film is very naturalistic, and that's what it's going for. It wants to be kind of authentic. It wants to really be a slice of life. And this dialogue is very much not movie standard dialogue. This is dialogue that you actually hear people say in real life, which gives it kind of an ad-lib feel. There's this great moment where Channing Tatum and Terrence Howard are sitting on a porch together, and they're both having a conversation with one another, but it's one of those moments where they're both talking to each other, but they're not talking to each other because they're not listening to one another. They're just saying what they want to say.
Yeah.
And it feels so real. Like these two guys are just saying their piece, and they don't give a shit what the other guy says. There's a lot of that in this that I really like. I really like the vibe of this movie. I really like the soul of what it is. I like the fact that the film is really, it's a metaphor. You know, the name fighting isn't about the actual fighting. It's about clawing your way up and getting respect in the world.
Or fighting sleep.
But no, I mean, that's to be serious. That's what the film is titled about. But that's not what they're selling. And as a result, people are going to walk into this going, all right, I'm ready to see. And instead, they're seeing something that they really should have been prepped for, because this is a film that you need to know what you're seeing. And if you don't, you're probably going to be disappointed.
Yeah, man. I'm thinking you're going to get the Fast and the Furious crowd ready to see the Fast and the Furious, except about fists rather than cars.
Well,
and from what y'all are saying, a lot of people are going to walk out fighting the theater manager for their money back.
Imagine if you would prepping the Fast and the Furious crowd to see Fast and the Furious, but they walk in and see Rocky without the really great ending.
Or imagine if you were prepared to go see the Fast and the Furious and you went in and they were riding Vespas.
They only did 30. That's
Hold on a second. Once you're on one of those things, it feels fucking fast, motherfucker.
And I think that'll be the next Fast and Furious movie. So, hey, I stand
Fast and the
corrected here.
Furious, and if you hit a pothole, you lose.
Well, let me
That's
ask you something here. What did you think about Brian J. White in the movie? The guy that because see, to me, that there's Brian J. White.
Brian
You've seen
J.
it?
White?
Brian J. White. Yeah, not Michael Jai White. I know you're thinking of.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about.
No, Brian J. White. You've seen him before. Actor. He was in you probably remember him from The Family Stone. He was the black guy who was gay in that movie.
I like to think of him as Cuba Gooding III.
It's not bigger, yeah. But no, in the movie, he plays a guy that Channing Tatum knew in Alabama, and they're in a bar somewhere, and he's like, yo, man, oh, you here? It's like, you here? And it's like, all right, this is a stretch right here. These guys just haphazardly meeting each other.
Well, no, because he's the thing is, that wasn't even a stretch, because his character is a professional fighter.
Mm-hmm.
He ran off and became a professional fighter, and he's hanging out in the bar where all the fighting people go to hang out with afterwards. And this just happens to be hey, we just want to fight. We got to go to this bar and hang out. That wasn't really a stretch. But the whole thing is there's kind of this rivalry. And this is one of the problems with the film that, it's also one of those things that I like the authenticity. I like that it feels very natural, but it also doesn't do a great job of ramping up tension. Hell, there's a big twist at the end that, everybody in the audience predicted happening. They just kind of spring it like, oh, hey, yeah, we didn't bother to build any tension up to this moment, but hey, here's what's really going on. And it's, oh, yeah, no, that doesn't surprise me at all.
Well, I can see what you're saying with that. I mean, I can see. I'll let that slide.
I felt that work, but these guys are supposed to hate each other. Did you ever feel like they really hated each other?
No, because you're too busy looking at Brian J. White and saying, what a dick, man. Like Terrence Howard comes up and he's just like, hey, man, how you doing? And then he's just like, go wash my car, bitch. And it's like, Jesus, man, why you so angry? What's wrong with you?
But that led to one of those great moments, because he's like, hey, man, get hurt saying that. You gonna hit me?
And Terrence Howard just up there looking. He's like, this movie might be called Fighting, but I ain't gonna do it. I'm walking out the door right now.
I might not hit you, but this guy right next to me will. Go ahead, get him.
Say, I know you're not any kind of war machine, Terrence.
Yeah, no. Terrence Howard in Looking
Jesus.
Like a Bitch. So you know what? It sounds like I want to give this some more bullshit, but I'm just giving it like a low rental. I mean, I didn't hate it. It had some parts in there that did amuse me.
I liked this. I thought it was good, but it's really one of those things in talking to everybody and realizing what it is I like about it. I like it that it's unique, but it's not something that I can heavily recommend to someone. I give it a rental. But I give it an enthusiastic rental. It's something you should check out. It's definitely got some cool things going on, but I think the majority of people are going to walk into this with the wrong idea about it. I think there's going to be a lot of people disappointed with it.
I'm wondering what's going on now that we've got The Wrestler, a street story about a guy who's a wrestler, very generic name, really. And now it's just fighter. Fuck the and the actual job description. It's just fighter. What's
Fighting.
next? Or fighting. What's next? Just some dude?
You know, you're right. They really are getting uncreative with these titles. This is
Well,
run
hell,
out of all
Fast
the
and Furious. I was like, well, this time we'll just take off the articles.
Now you've seen The Fighter, haven't you? Remember The Fighter?
Oh, that's
from
right. There
Fantastic
is a
Fest?
The Fighter, yeah.
The Fighter is something they need to bring over here and release because that's the movie they're hyping this up to be.
Right, because that was amazing.
that was a really great movie. This isn't anything like that.
Ah, see, that's disappointing. We'll just change all our review titles to critic.
So what, they got rules?
Yeah, if you lose, you get nothing. Go make some money.